I've had a Wagner power painter for about 7 years, and I absolutely love it. Every time I need to refresh the deck, or if I want to paint, I've got Adirondack chairs just like that. And let me tell you, trying to use a paintbrush is miserable. If you want to do the garage, you want to do a door, if you want to do a chair, a table, whatever, Wagner's Flexio makes it so easy. This is their paint spraying bundle. You get so much, and look at our today's special price. It is $50 off. If you try to find this at retail, it's even more than our price. We're breaking up the payments into 4 payments of $24.99, but it gets any project done, and it does it perfectly. Why? Because you have a powered air pressure paint system. That's what the pros use. You don't see professional painters going and painting a house with brushes and rollers, right? They always use the power sprayer. Why? I'll tell you why. First of all, you get a consistent, even coat. You save paint. When you're glopping paint on there, you're really not doing a good job. When you aerate the paint, you get a much, much better coat. It dries, and you can get multiple layers of paint on rather than just slapping one heavy, thick layer on there. Wagner is the industry leader when it comes to any kind of a painting project, any kind of paint guns, and this is the one that we chose for you. Why? Never been easier. I mean, literally, you plug it in, you put the paint in there, you pull the trigger. There are several ways you can adjust the flow of the paint and the angle of the paint. So if you want to go this way or you want to go that way, you simply turn this little dial right here, and that'll adjust the angle of the spray. It is very, very simple. When you order today, you're going to get the iPaint sprayer. We're also going to give you the detailing nozzle that comes along with it, so you get both these to go with it. We've got a lot of other options for you that come along with it too, including our cup liners. We're going to give you 5 of those. We're going to give you the 800 milliliter paint cup. You get the 1.5 milliliter paint cup as well. If you had to pick up all this stuff separately, here's what you'd pay, all right? The $137 is just for the paint sprayer. Everywhere else, the detail nozzle is another $30. The spray shield, which is the yellow thing that's right here to my left, and I'll show you that in a minute too, which is ideal. You see every professional painter uses a spray shield to keep the paint from getting on areas you don't want to. And then we're gonna give you the cup liners as well. It works with any paint. It works with any stain. It is exactly like the pros, only scaled down for a home model. And at $99.95, let me just tell you, if you hate painting, and I'm talking about things that are really hard. Do you ever paint a fence with a brush, and you got to get the sides, you got to get in between the cracks, you got to get the back, you got to get the front? You ever do that with a brush or a roller? And it gets everywhere. When you use brushes and rollers, you have drips everywhere, right? They get on your shoes, they get all over your hands. This is just a cleaner way to do it. And with Flexio, as I said, customized air settings, so you can decide how much paint you want to use, how little, how much airflow you want to use, and it's all done automatically for you. The item number is 097529. And again, you're going to love it. There's no waste, even coating, and easy. Anybody can do this. Trust me, I hate painting. I love my Wagner. Let me introduce you to our special guest. His name is Lou Caputo, and he's standing by. I believe he's standing by. Luke, there he is in the Caputo studio. And now I want you, hi Lou, it's good to see you, first of all.
You too, Guy.
You know, I'm looking at that door, and I've painted doors, Lou.
Yeah.
All the little cracks and crevices, all the little areas where it's recessed. I mean, if you do that with a brush, first of all, it'll take you forever. If you do it with a roller, you're gonna have to use a brush anyway to dab it all in. With Wagner, It's all in one and so easy.
No, it is. And you know what? One thing about this model, too, we got to mention, this is a newer, lighter weight model that actually has a smaller grip on it, so it's better for folks with smaller hands. So I think a lot of people are going to really like this. But to your point, let me show you how easy it is to do a door like this. First, I'm going to turn on the turbine, and then when I pull the trigger, you're going to see that paint start coming out. Watch this. So the turbine's on now. By the way, that turbine, it's 2-speed. Watch this as I start painting this door right here. The way it just puts on such a nice, even coat of paint as I come down here. I mean, it is just smooth all day long. And Guy, I like what you said about aerating the paint, because that's very, very true. When you aerate the paint, it's gonna dry faster. So for some reason, if I need to put a second coat on here, by the time I'm done painting the door, I'm ready to go back and hit that second coat on the other side. So that's a wonderful feature. Now, the other thing, too, about when you use paint like this through a sprayer is you use less material. Yeah. More of it's winding up on the surface where you want it to go. You're getting a more even job. You're getting a smoother job. So at the end of the day, you are looking like a professional. You're going to get results you've never gotten before, thanks to your Wagner Flexio 2500 Plus. And, you know, the other thing I like about this, too, is I'm getting the 2 spray nozzles. And that second nozzle, the detail nozzle, is great for doing smaller jobs, more detailed jobs, hence the name. And my wife Kelly's a big crafter. She absolutely loves that one. Crafters really go crazy for it. And Guy, just like that, while I was talking,
you did a door.
Not out of breath, didn't break a sweat. Door is beautiful.
You're Happy Lou, and I prefer Happy Lou to slightly upset Lou. Well, that's the bottom line. Hey, really quick, Lou, I want to mention something because I think it's
Sure.
I've been off for a day, so I'm not sure, but I know now we're doing our if you get a brand new HSN credit card. You don't get 10 or 20, you get $40 towards your first purchase, which means you could get this for $54.95 or 50, whatever it is, 50, whatever, $59.95. $59.95, you can get yourself a Wagner Power sprayer. And you know what's funny, Lou, is when I first bought mine, and I bought mine several years ago, I didn't think I would use it as much as I did. And it also really depends on where you live. You know, in New England, you know, you don't do a lot of paint jobs in the, in the winter time, but you do a lot of indoor stuff. Here in Florida, I mean, you know, we have that weather we deal with, and if you own outdoor furniture, or if you have even like you look here at this young lady right here, or this guy, you know, they're just painting pieces of furniture outside to make them look beautiful, right? If you've got support beams that you want to paint, you can do it yourself. It's really not that hard. You know, I always say with painting, you know, realistically, when you've got a power sprayer, the only hard part is just, you know, setting it up ahead of time. Like, where do I want to paint? And just putting some tape up, right? Now, you do, remember, you do get the, you know, the little, thing, you know, whatever
the spray shield.
The spray shield, I'm sorry.
The spray shield.
The spray shield, that comes along with it, so that eliminates a lot of the other prep work that you have to do. You just go up along that, and you can wash that off at the end of the day. But the coverage that you get, the before and afters are amazing. I have, when I first moved to Florida, there's a guy that lived down the street and he used to make, and he still does, he makes Adirondack chairs for the beach. And I was like, oh, I gotta get this. You know, it's like when I moved to Arizona, I had to have, you know, I had to have a skull on the wall, you know, because that's what everybody in Arizona does. Or I have to have cowhide on my bar stools. Here in Florida, right, you get the Adirondack outdoor beach chairs, but they're a nightmare to keep not only in shape, but to paint, because there are so many cracks and crevices. When you've got Wagner, literally all you are doing is you are pulling the trigger and just spraying, either up or down or left to right. That's all that you need to do, and you get this amazing even coat. Very, very, and people are always like, what about cleanup? Let me just tell you,
easy.
Cleaning brushes and buckets is way harder than just rinsing out this one container. It is so simple to use, and at $99.95, I think even if you just use it a couple of times a year, you're gonna be happy with the investment that you made. Because Lou, and you've got a chair right there, it's so easy. I think people look at it and they're like, oh, there's gotta be some, you know, it's some mystical way they paint. No, you just pull the trigger. Easy.
Yeah, literally, that's it. You pull the trigger. Well, and you know, I've got 2 Adirondack chairs at my house. You know, here in Florida, when we get into the rainy season, we got to make the most of the time where the sun's out, okay? So with your Wagner, with your Flexio 2500 Plus, you're going to get it done faster. Watch how quickly I can paint this whole Adirondack chair. And to Guy's point, even in between the slats. So I'm going to turn this guy on. Now watch this. Look at the way that paint comes out of there and how quickly I can do this. Now I'm going to come back up this way. I'm going to start doing the back of the chair. Now, as I'm doing this, it's actually getting into those crevices. And remember, I've got a 2-speed turbine on here. I'm on low speed right now, believe it or not. So if I wanted to go to high speed, we could put out a crazy volume of paint. But you know what? I can control that too. I can control how much paint I'm putting out. Here, let me get this side over here, just to keep it even. There we go, all the way down there. And we're going to say that's done. There. Have you ever painted an Adirondack chair that quickly? And look at that, the beautiful finish on this thing. It's crazy.
Lou, you know what, too? I don't see any drippy mess underneath, because if you try to paint that same chair and you're using a roller or you're using a paintbrush, you're gonna get areas where you know, if you're stippling in or you're going in cracks or crevices, where you're gonna get drips. And the worst part is, sometimes you notice the drips after they've already dried. Now you gotta chip them off with a screwdriver, you gotta repaint it, you gotta touch it up. You'll never have to do that, all right? It is so easy to use. And what I love about the Power Painter too is that the compressor is right there in your hand. It's very well balanced. It's not heavy. It's easy to use, not hard. Pulling the trigger is easy. There's a little on or off switch. I've got one right here, and I'll do an area right here. I'm gonna step around. I'll do like this. Now, if you come in close, I don't know how close you can get to this. This is a nightmare, all right? This is just, this is wicker furniture. Have you ever tried to paint wicker furniture? Drippy, messy, and never seem to get great coverage. I'm gonna turn it on, and you can hear the compressor going on, that's in my hand, and I'm just gonna start painting, and you'll see how easy it is. And look, it's getting in every crack, every crevice. If I wanna go down on the legs, all right, and I won't do the whole thing, but I just wanted to show you how easy this is. Up and down the legs, spindles, all the way to the ground. All right, if I want to do the top, I can do the top over here very, very easily. But I've just done pretty much the entire front of this chair, and I've done it very easily. Turn it off. That's how simple it is, and the chair is done. If I wanted to do over here, I've got the same sort of a chair, and I'm just going to move it a little bit so that I can get to it. But look at all the detail areas in here, because the weave of these types of chairs, of this wicker furniture, is beautiful. But it's very, very tight, and it's hard to get in there. So I'm gonna turn it on again, and I'm gonna try to do this. I may step around just to make this a little bit easier for me to do. And here we go, all right? And again, I mean, come on. Watch how quickly. I can probably do this entire chair. There's the seat, I'll do the back. All right, very, very simple. Sides. I would be dipping my paintbrush in only for like the second time with this. I'll get all these sides, I'll get the back here, all across the top, and very balanced in my hand, very, very easy. I want to make sure I get a good coat. And as we were saying earlier, Lou, what's nice about this is I don't have to wait forever to do my second coat. I'm going to turn that off and step away over here. And
that looks great, Guy.
Yeah, look. I mean, I don't want to get any on my hands, but I want to turn it so that you can see. If you come in as close as you want, and look at how beautiful that chair is. I have not gotten anything on my hands. I have nothing on my shoes. I have nothing on the ground as far as drips, right?
Look at that.
I mean, that is tight. And remember, if I wanted to make it even a deeper color, I could add a second coat. And guess what? That second coat is gonna take me 45 seconds rather than 45 minutes to do. That's the bottom line. That's why you get one of these. So today, $99, it's $50 off. You have FlexPay available. If you want to get $40 off, get yourself an HSN credit card, and we'll put $40 in your account for you, which is great. Today's the day to use that, by the way. And you get everything that you need, Lou. I mean, you get the iSprayer, you get the detail sprayer, you get, I mean, everything is included. If you only used it 2 times in a year, it'll be worth it for the frustration that you're not gonna have from doing. I think that's why people hire people, because they know painting is a pain in the butt, right? Painting can be really difficult. You never see a house painter with a bunch of rollers and brushes, all right? They may do it if they're doing some fine detail stuff near windows or whatever, but for the most part, they're using a power sprayer. Why? They get the best look, and it takes less time. If you're a painter, time is money. You gotta line up as many jobs as you can. You at home, you don't wanna spend 3 hours on a project that could take you 30 minutes. Why would you do that? Get this home, you're gonna love it. We also have available the extra set of 2 paint cups if you wanna get extras, if you're gonna be doing a lot of painting. We are gonna give you the 2 containers right out of the gate. And again, we give you everything that you need, the spray shield, the liners, everything is included at a price $50 off, way, way, way below retail on this as well. Get it home, I think they're gonna absolutely love it, Lou.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Well, and here's the thing we haven't talked about yet. This is totally customizable, okay? So let me show you the top of this and some of the features on here, okay? So on the side of this, you've got your on-off switch, okay? So you can flick this on, and that's what turns the turbine on, just like that. On top of it right here, you actually have the speed control for the turbine. So that's a high speed and a low speed on there, all right? Then right here, we've got a control knob where I can twist this and I control how much material's coming out. I can also control the pattern. It's a wide pattern or it's a narrow pattern right there. So there's the 3 controls on the top of it right here. And then everything's controlled by the trigger. So let me do something tough though, Guy. I'm gonna paint this fence. And one of the cool things about the Flexio 2500 is that you can use stain. You can also use lacquer. You can use oil paint, latex paint, chalk paint, milk paint. Take a look at the fence right here. This is all raw wood on the fence, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this on. You know what a nightmare it is trying to paint raw wood outside in the sun. Watch the way I can hit this, and the paint just comes right down here as I'm moving this down. Look at that. And it's getting into all the cracks and all the crevices, Guy, just like it did on that wicker chair. And you know what I love about that? If you've ever painted a wicker chair with a brush, when you start going into those crevices, sometimes they clump up. Sometimes it actually blocks the openings. And then it just ruins the whole effect of having wicker, you know, because it's all blocked up.
Right,
you don't actually
right.
get to see through it. With this, you can, wow, look at that. The way I just did this whole fence in just a couple of seconds. One coat, we're done. It's very complete. It's total coverage on this. I'm going to use less material. It's going to dry faster, Guy. I'm going to get that whole yard done before lunchtime.
Hey,
Isn't that great?
Yeah, oh, it's awesome. Lou, talk to me about, you know, there's a lot of systems on the market that you have to use different you have to use different machines for different types of paint. What can I use in this? I mean, is everything okay? Can I use stain?
Yeah.
Can I?
Anything you want. You can do stains, you can do latex, you can do oil paints, you can do chalk paints, you can do pretty much anything that you want to do with this. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. And you don't have to worry about diluting them. I always say do a small section, take a look at how it looks, but you know what? That's the thing you want to do. Now, here we go. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do these spindles on this deck here because it's that time of year. I actually have to paint a dock next week, so I'm going to be using my Wagner for sure. But watch this. I'm going to turn on the fan, the turbine, and watch how I can hit these spindles on here. Look at the great job that this does, Guy. You know, and I'm using the detail nozzle right now because I like the detail nozzle when I'm doing a little bit tighter work like this. There's less overspray when you're doing it this way. It's very controllable, and that's why crafters love this too, because they get their projects done so quickly and easily. So there, we got those spindles done in no time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out the paint cups, okay? So I'm going to grab the paint cup right here. I'm going to spin this just like that. I'm going to pull it off, okay? Now what I'm going to do is put on the eye detail. So we just switched from the smaller cup, the detail cup, to the eye detail. Got that on there. Now we're going to paint the deck. Watch how quickly we can do this. Turn the fan on. And here we go, the turbine, I should say. Boom, just like that. Look at the way we're coming through here. We're painting this literally in seconds. The whole thing is going to be done just like that, and we're finished. I mean,
you know, that's the most demonstrative one, because think about what you would have to do if you wanted to paint your deck, all right? Especially the flooring of your deck. Yeah, first of all, you wouldn't even know where to start, right? Because you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna need buckets of paint. I'm gonna need big, long, extra handles, rollers. You probably would try rolling it, and then you would watch as the paint drips down through every crack, right? And essentially, you're probably losing 20% of your paint, all right? It's in every crack. The paint is gonna go in there where you know, nobody's ever gonna see it, and it's just gonna drip through the other side. If you have to do large areas, I mean, normally you would think, okay, I'm gonna get big rollers. But then you know as well as I do, if you don't do that in a job, now you gotta buy more rollers. Now you gotta store paint. This is gonna get all that done so quickly, you actually will not believe it. Like when I first used mine, and I used mine, what I did with mine, Lou, is when I moved to Florida, there was basically like a sunroom, but it was open air, so I had it all sealed in, put windows in there, and I turned it into like a sun porch. But the exterior, they re-stuccoed the exterior, and I wanted to paint the exterior, and it wasn't a ton of air. It was basically three exterior walls, and that's why I bought the power painter, because if you ever try, there's no other way to paint stucco. Exterior, rough texture. You can't use a roller because it doesn't work. If you use a paintbrush, you better pretty much reserve 3 weeks of your time to do that amount of work. So I bought it, and I went out there, and I remember Danny was little at the time, and I remember I and it was like a almost like a blue, like what's behind me on the behind me on the little mural back there. The
azure blue.
Yes, and I put it in there, and man, I was smiling ear to ear. I'm like, this is so easy. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And I did 2 side walls and the entire front facade of the sun porch. Probably took me total time, maybe 30 minutes, maybe. Because once you get started, and most of it was just I taped off the windows, you know, because I didn't have the sense, I didn't have the screen, I didn't have that. So I taped off all the windows, and that's what took me 30 minutes. Once I got the paint gun on, I'm like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. And it
makes all the difference in the world.
And Lou, it gets in every little textured crack or crevice gets painted.
No, it does. And you know what? That's why crafters love these too. Right now I'm using the detail nozzle on this flower pot. We're going to give it a little breath of fresh air, so to speak, a little new life to it. Look at the way I can just rotate this around, and in just seconds, I'm going to cover the entire thing. I got one section at the top I noticed I missed. Boom, done. Look how quickly we did that, Guy, how easy it is to do. And remember, for crafters, milk paint, chalk paint, all the things you love. Guy, I'm gonna tackle something else that's really tough. I've got a louver door directly behind me. Now I want you to see, because if you've ever painted a louver door, second to maybe a wicker chair, This is the nightmare right here, okay? I'm gonna turn this on and watch how quickly we can do this louvered door. I think I'm gonna go side to side on this guy, but watch this. Look at the way that paint just gets on there. Remember, we're aerating the paint at the same time. So it's gonna use less material. You're gonna get a more even coat of paint on here. But the other thing is it's gonna dry faster. So as you said earlier, Guy, if I gotta put a second coat on, that's not a big deal. My time is gonna be cut in half. I'm gonna use less material, and I'm gonna get much better results. Now, notice, it's even up under the louvers, Guy. I don't have to come back here and stipple and go, with a paintbrush for an hour. Done. That's what we want it to look like right there.
Everything you're doing there, they're all the nightmares of any home painter, right? Or like I said, if you're doing exteriors, most people do not have a polished exterior home. It's got some texture. It's either stucco or, or some other, or you've got, like we said, shutters out there, or you've got, like look at that, unfinished wood that you want to do. Maybe a lot of you wanted to, a lot of people put that sky blue underneath the exterior of their, or underneath their deck. They love that. You could do that. You can do all this yourself. Do not discount the fact that you have skills and talents and that you could do stuff like this. Most people are like, it's too much work. I don't want to. Yeah, but there's so much satisfaction when you do it right. And when you do it the way the pros do it, only on a scaled down version, that's the whole key. That's the whole thing.
Right.
You spend a little bit of money. All right, you'll spend $99 on this. I mean, what do you spend? I mean, a good gallon of paint's gonna cost you 30, 40, 50 bucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you wanna do the job right, make sure that the applicator is the right applicator, all right? And I'm not telling you you're never gonna use a paintbrush again, all right? If there's a little job that you wanna do and it's, it takes you 30 seconds, get a little paintbrush. But the point is, when you're doing anything that's gonna be a job that's a little more work or anything that's really hard to get the paint in, you're gonna want Wagner. And we picked out the perfect model for you. This is the one for home use. All right, if you're gonna be a professional painter, then go out and buy a $3,000 compressor for your paint. But for us, 99 bucks is all you'll spend, and you will use it on a regular basis. Yep. We know it's springtime. Yep. A lot of you are thinking, oh man, the exterior of the house looks crappy. The shutters look bad. Maybe it's just the area where your cement, your foundation, meets the ground before you have your wood shutter, and you're just like, I want to paint that because it's kind of beat up and dirty. You can do that as well. All right, 097529. Remember, brand new 8% credit card today gets you $40 in your account and drops that price to $59.95. Take advantage of it. Lou, we got about 2 or 3 minutes left. What else you got for me?
Okay. All right, I want to show you how the spray shield works, because one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with if you're brand new to spray painting is cutting around windows, cutting around door jambs and stuff like that. So watch this. If I just place this up against the corner just like that, I'm just going to do like a little section right there. I'm going to turn on my Wagner and watch what I can do here. Just use that spray shield to stop the paint from going where you don't want it to go. Look at that beautiful sharp edge we got right there. But the other thing I want to show you is this. For the crafters out there, okay, we've got a stencil up on the wall right here, and watch how easy it is, how much control I have. And if you want to beautify the outside of your house, or maybe flower pots or some elements out there, I'm going to turn her on. Watch this. And you know what? The control that you get with this control nozzle, and that's why it's so great that it's coming in this bundle, it's just unmatched. I mean, I have total control over paint flow. I can control how much is coming out. Remember, it's spray on demand, guys. So, and whenever I want it to spray, I squeeze the trigger. When I don't want it to, I stop. And then, voila, just like that. Absolutely gorgeous. I bet you didn't know I was an artist. Look what I did.
Lou, you got a lot of talents, Lou. I tell you, but anybody, we should tell you, hey, listen, if you can hold this thing in your hand, only weighs a few pounds. If you could do that, I'm telling you, you're gonna love this thing, all right? And again, I've just switched it over. It's very easy to switch. Turn the handle, put the new bucket underneath. We put white paint under here, so now I'll paint. Remember the turquoise wicker chair I just did? Well, now maybe I don't like it. In year 2, I'm like, you know what? I wish that was white again. I'm gonna turn it on. I put white paint on here. I'm gonna get it going. And now I can turn I can turn the turquoise chair back into a white chair very, very easily.
That's tough to do over a darker color too, guys.
But and this is the same chair, and the reason I wanted to do this is to show you how quickly it dried. And it dried very, very fast because we're aerating the paint, so we're taking advantage of using less paint, right, on our job here. And I'll get all the way in the front there. I'll go all the way down, get the legs.
Nice.
And the back.
Look at you.
Yeah, and now I've just taken that job, and I just finished it again.
Done.
Turn it off. and I'm done. I mean, come on, how easy can it be? You will absolutely love doing this. Anyone can do it, as long as you can hold the paint in your hand. It just what it does, Lou, is it removes all those extra steps that you have to do when you're doing things by hand. You don't have to be as careful. You know when you're using a brush or a roller, you're so like, oh, I don't want to go over, I don't want to do this. Hey, you put a little tape up. Yeah, look at this guy doing a whole garage door. Every crack gets filled. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's one of the things they say about your house. If you want to improve that curb appeal, paint the garage, because that's the first thing people look at. And it looks great. By the way, Guy, when you want to clean this, it breaks down to 2 pieces. You never have to worry about cleaning the turbine. You just clean the paint pot and you clean the nozzle. And all I've got to do is just press down here and rotate. And I'm going to take this piece apart, breaks down to 2 pieces, run it underwater, and we're good to go. 5 minutes, maybe, to clean this. Compared to a brush and roller, I'll take this any day of the week.
All right, if you want to get one, I have another airing coming up in the top of the next hour. I know it's our gardening show, but you know, hey, maybe you want to do a trellis outside, right? That's gardening, right? Maybe you got an enclosed shower and you want to be able to do that, areas like that. Bottom line is it's beautifying your home or any project that you want to do. Get it home, 097-529. Lou, you're amazing. I know you got a lot to do to get ready for our next shot at this at the top of the next hour. So I will see you in a little bit, my friend.
Okay, guys, see you in a few.
Thanks, buddy. All right, you know what? I wanted to make, I can't make the Durasac my pick.